My father-in-law started collecting Asian art, and G.T. Marsh and Sons imported many, many beautiful things. And we're talking around the 40s and 50s when he was going to G.T. Marsh. Well, he struck up a relationship with Mr. Marsh and was invited to their family home in Stinson Beach and took my husband, Bill, with him to create something lovely for his mother. So we're talking 65 years ago.
G.T. Marsh & Sons, one of the most influential names in Japanese-inspired American design. This was the firm that introduced the West to refined mixed metal techniques long before they became fashionable. Their founder, George Turner Marsh, had spent his youth absorbing Japanese aesthetics, and the influence became the heartbeat of every piece that left his workshop. This suite, necklace, earrings, and ring, captures everything Marsh stood for. Each surface carries that distinct matte finish created through a process inspired by gunsmithing techniques, a blend of heat, sandblasting, and chemical treatment that turns steel into something almost velvety. Against this muted background, the bright flash of white gold connectors and diamonds creates a striking contrast. At the center of each design, cultured pearls add a quiet glow, a nod to Japan's early pearl culturing innovations. The earrings are perhaps the most charming surprise, engineered with a hidden spring that lets the pearls glide with every movement, giving them a delicate sense of life. But the true masterpiece is the necklace, a creation so unusual for Marsh & Sons that even seasoned experts rarely encounter anything like it.
I think very realistically, and at auction, as a suite, I think you're looking at $30,000 to $44,000.
Wow.
Now, to break it down, it's easy $20,000 to $30,000 just for the necklace.
Wow.
Necklace is beyond fabulous. I believe the earrings would be $5,000 to $7,000. I believe the ring would be the same. You might find a ring, you might find a pair of earrings, but you're gonna have a lot of difficulty
Finding that. Thank you so much, Kevin.
You're welcome.
You made my day.
You made mine.
I brought some jewelry that was either my great-grandmother's or my great-great-grandmother's. My great-grandmother was a very prominent woman in San Francisco.
I see.
And she was very much involved with the Jewish San Franciscans in the 1800s.
Okay.
And I know that they were pretty wealthy people.
Do you wear them?
I do. I wear the ring. I wear this mostly when I'm going out for black tie.
They stand as pristine survivors of the Art Deco era, each one shaped by the sharp geometry and refined glamour that defined the 1930s. The bracelet sets the tone, a crisp, symmetrical construction of platinum set with shimmering diamonds arranged in perfect order. Its design is unmistakably of its time, bold yet disciplined, with just a whisper of color from small sapphires crafted during the early days of synthetic stone production. Despite its age, its condition is astonishingly intact, a rarity for jewelry that has witnessed nearly a century of wear.
For something like this, I would expect an auction estimate to be in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. Very nice piece.
For the bracelet.
Just the bracelet alone.
The ring takes the drama further. At its center rests a substantial old European diamond, around 2 carats, its facets cut to catch light in that warm, romantic way older stones are known for. Surrounding it, an array of smaller diamonds adds 3-dimensional sparkle, framing the centerpiece like a halo frozen in motion.
And a good auction estimate for that would be around $12,000 to $18,000.
Okay.
A lot of that is based on the center diamond. Of course, when you got a big diamond, that always helps us out here.
Then comes the showstopper, a cultured pearl strand supporting a pendant with a commanding cushion-cut diamond weighing roughly 3 carats. The surrounding stones, set in an unmistakably Deco arrangement, amplify its glow. Though the pendant's attachment has been modified over time, the overall presence remains breathtaking. Taken together, the suite represents an extraordinary blend of family history and period artistry.
I think a good auction estimate for that piece is going to be about $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, lovely suite you've got there. Nice.
Wow. Okay. I'm happy with that.
My sister and I have collected this jewelry that belonged to my grandmother. She was born in 1900. She lived to be 100, and she had really good taste, and my grandfather enjoyed buying jewelry for her.
These pieces were crafted by none other than Mario Buccellati himself, the visionary who founded one of Italy's most celebrated jewelry houses and later brought his artistry to New York. His work from the mid-20th century is revered for one unmistakable quality: absolute mastery of gold. This suite, with earrings, a bracelet, and a striking leaf brooch, captures Buccellati's signature style in its purest form. Each element is sculpted entirely by hand from rich 18-karat gold. The leaves aren't simply shaped, they're textured, modeled, and engraved with astonishing delicacy. Every vein and every curve is created through techniques perfected in his workshops, thin sheets of gold rolled, pressed, and detailed until they feel almost weightless, yet remain strong enough to endure decades of wear. The brooch adds an unexpected twist: vibrant sapphires in a deep magenta tone. Buccellati often chose gems not for perfection, but for personality, stones that offered mood and color rather than absolute clarity. That choice gives the brooch a vivid, almost poetic presence. What makes these pieces even more extraordinary is the mark on the back, the full M, Buccellati's signature, confirming they came directly from Mario's own era.
At an auction, the bracelet in the center would be the estimate, $3,000 to $4,000.
Wow.
The oak leaf clip pin, $1,200 to $1,800.
Okay.
Women love their earrings.
Uh-huh.
Even though they're smaller than the pin, they would probably be $1,500 to
Wow.
$2,000 at auction.
Wow.
The pin you're in love with.
Yeah.
Wait till your sister hears this. It's probably worth as much money as the bracelet, $2,500
Okay.
to $3,500.
Oh, very, very nice.
At auction, as a group, $8,000 to $12,000.
Well, that's really nice to know. We really love it. It's our grandmother. I'm very excited. I know my sister will be excited too.
It has been in my family for many, many generations, and I was lucky enough to be the last one to receive it.
This extraordinary Georgian suite carries within it not only centuries of craftsmanship, but generations of family history. Originating in England during the Georgian period, an era stretching from the early 1700s to the 1830s, it showcases one of the most distinctive jewelry techniques of that time: canatille. The delicate gold wires, curled and coiled into ornate patterns, create an airy framework that feels almost lace-like, yet requires immense skill to execute. At the center of this masterpiece are vibrant purple amethysts, likely sourced from Siberia, known for producing stones with rich, velvety color. Each gem is faceted to catch the light, but the real showpiece is the large, central drop. What makes it delightful is its secret versatility. With a hidden mechanism at the back, the drop can be detached and worn as a brooch. It transforms the necklace from a dramatic statement piece into a two-in-one heirloom: practical, luxurious, and full of personality. The earrings echo the necklace's sweeping Georgian style. Their long, elegant form reflects a fashion revival of dramatic pendant earrings during that era. Over the years, practical adjustments were made. At some point, they were modified for non-pierced ears, but crucial original components survived, allowing restoration that respects their history. Though the suite bears evidence of old repairs, these can be reversed, returning the pieces to their intended beauty.
Today, if you sold this at auction, it would be in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $12,000.
Lovely.
That includes a pin also.
It does.
You get a pin out of the deal.
Oh, I'm delighted to know that.
This was my grandmother's jewelry. She and my grandfather came to America in 1939. They left Italy. They were Italian Jews, and they left from the persecution of the Jews from Mussolini. And my grandmother was pregnant with my mom, and she wore a fur coat and lined the fur coat with the jewelry in their travels. They didn't have traveler's checks then, so.
They just had jewels and fur coats.
Yes, yes.
And do you remember her wearing this at all?
I think that one of the rings was her wedding ring. I believe that was her wedding ring. And the other ones, no, I don't recall.
The collection spans the height of 1920s European craftsmanship. At its heart is a breathtaking bar brooch built around a crisp, emerald-cut diamond of about 3 carats, flanked by 2 old European stones that together form a powerful trio of brilliance. Below it lies an exceptional necklace of 5 slender drops, each made in the knife-edge style that defined the geometry of Art Deco design. Sets like this often didn't survive intact, making its completeness especially remarkable. 2 platinum rings bring further elegance, one holding a 2-carat old European diamond, the other a single-carat stone with the soft fire and romantic faceting unique to early 20th century cutting. The earrings, likely from just before the Deco era fully bloomed, carry stones of about 1 carat each, simple, classic, and timeless. What ties the suite together isn't just its beauty, but the journey it made, across oceans, through risk, and into the hands of future generations.
If this came up for auction today, I would expect that the whole group would bring at least $30,000.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's extraordinary. I hadn't expected that.
I was very blessed to inherit this necklace from my great Aunt Mamie. She was born in Scotland, in Motherwell. She was one of 10 children and moved to the United States and moved to Chicago, where she had an insulation company. And then she moved to Los Angeles area, where she became a realtor in Venice, California. She was a realtor to the stars. She was always wearing the glitz and the glam and was always mentioning this movie star and that movie star. She entertained a lot. When she passed away in 1994, she had no children, and I was the lucky niece that got this necklace and earrings and beautiful ring. I've always admired it, and I've never known anything about it.
Aunt Mimi, she did some unusual things in the day for a woman, right?
She did. She was quite brave and adventuresome. She got her pilot's license in the 1930s. So she was a woman to be dealt with, and she would never take no for an answer. And I think maybe her jewelry shows a little bit of that, too.
At first glance, the necklace reads like lavish costume jewelry, dramatic, bright, unapologetically bold. But a closer look reveals something far more intriguing. The golden stones glowing across the demi-bib are citrines, carefully matched so their color flows in perfect harmony. Citrine isn't rare, but when cut well and grouped thoughtfully, it creates a warm, sunlit effect that feels unmistakably luxurious. Framing each citrine are crisp white accents that look like diamonds, but are, in fact, white sapphires, chosen for their clarity and shine. The gold work comes with a surprise. Rather than the expected 14-carat or 18-carat, the suite was crafted in 9-carat gold, a clue pointing to South American origins. Its style and construction place it between the late 1930s and mid-1940s, a moment when fashion embraced bolder shapes, longer lines, and luminous stones that caught the eye across a crowded room.
I would sell this as a suite. In other words, the necklace, the earrings, and the ring. Not the kind of thing I'd want to break up.
Okay.
You keep it all together. So if we put it into an auction, this would go into the catalog for $3,000 to $4,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, it certainly would.
Yo. I can't believe it. That's wonderful. Thank
Well,
you.
you might have to wear it out to dinner.
I might have to wear it a few more times.
I bought them to honor my mother. She had big collection of art, various kind of arts, and one thing that she collected were jewels. These are jewels that she gave to me on various occasions in my life. Around Christmas time, she would actually give each woman in the family a gift. And an example of that is the little flower that came with various stones. So each woman got a different stone. I got the diamond. And I think that it may be from Van Cleef & Arpels.
The standout among them is a petite flower brooch from Van Cleef & Arpels, unmistakably marked and crafted with the brand's signature precision. These scatter pins, created in various gemstone versions, were beloved for their delicacy and versatility. The diamond version, bright, crisp, and beautifully cut, was always the most coveted, and this example fits that tradition perfectly.
These sweet little demure Van Cleef & Arpels flower brooches are just highly desirable. You'll be looking at anywhere at auction between $2,500 and $3,500.
Equally delightful is the whimsical cat brooch, also signed by VCA. With its glossy onyx body and a single emerald eye, it represents a playful side of mid-century French design. Jewelry animals from this era, especially cats, remain incredibly collectible and tend to spark instant affection.
On auction, people are very passionate about cats. This one is going to be around circa 1950. At auction, $2,000 to $3,000.
The turquoise and diamond earrings introduce a dramatic shift in scale and style. Their domed Bombay shape and bold presence reflect 1950s French glamour at its peak. Expertly made and surprisingly wearable, they embody the era's love for sculptural forms and vibrant color.
Beautifully done, very wearable, and they are clip-ons, which would be apropos for the 1950s as well. Made in France, a conservative estimate would be between $6,000 and $8,000.
Then comes the small but striking strawberry brooch, a burst of bright turquoise set into rich yellow gold, accented by sparkling diamonds. Its craftsmanship matches the quality of the other French pieces, and its character makes it instantly memorable.
The total carat weight is going to be approximately 5 carats on the top here. That does have signature on it. It's made in France. We would have to do a little bit more research on it to find out who the maker was, but it is the same quality as the others. The strawberry is going to be anywhere between $7,000 and $9,000.
Oh my goodness.
They're memorial rings, and some of them have coffins and skulls on them. They generally have the person's name and the date of their death, sometimes the date of their birth and their age. I had read about a coffin ring once in a mystery novel when I was young and was intrigued to buy it and sort of began a search and then noticed memorial jewelry, and I was fascinated by it because I thought it had a story to tell. It was an interesting custom.
Each piece in this group tells a story. Some feature black enamel bands with inscriptions. Others include pearls, sepia-toned portrait miniatures, or even woven strands of hair preserved beneath glass. These were intimate objects, meant to be touched, worn, and kept close. But the rarest treasures in the collection are the 3 skull rings, dramatic examples of early memento mori artistry. One holds a coffin-shaped crystal above a painted skeleton, surrounded by enamel motifs of skulls and burial tools, imagery meant to remind the wearer of mortality. Another, likely from the late 17th century, features a silver skull set with ruby eyes. The third is astonishingly detailed, a full skeleton rendered in enamel along the shank, its head captured beneath a cut crystal window. Such rings are coveted by collectors today for their rarity, craftsmanship, and powerful symbolism.
Retail in the collector's market. The 3 skull rings, these are the most sought after of the memorial ring collectibles. A collector would be happy today to spend at least $5,000. Take your pick for any one of these 3 rings. The whole collection, as I see it today at retail in the collector's market, is $40,000.
Okay.
So it pays to do your homework.
It pays to do your homework, it does.
Thanks for bringing them to the roadshow.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
The
This came down through my family. It started with my grandmother, as far as I know, and then it came to my mother. I think it just sat in her drawer for years. I'm not sure she ever used it. And then it was passed down to my wife in a box of costume jewelry. So she wore a piece now and then, but eventually it ended up with my two daughters. And they used it for dress up along with the rest of the costume jewelry. So that's about all I know about it.
This vibrant suite carries the unmistakable spirit of mid-century Tasco, a Mexican silver-making capital where artistry flourished, and where one remarkable woman broke barriers to become a celebrated designer. Known professionally as Margot de Tasco, Margaret van Voorhees Car Castillo was one of the real female silversmiths to open and run her own workshop in 1948, a bold step in a field dominated by men. Her creations blended influences from Egyptian art, Art Nouveau curves, Art Deco geometry, and traditional Mexican design, resulting in jewelry that felt both modern and timeless. This collection includes a necklace, bracelet, brooch, pendant, and earrings, an unusually complete grouping of her work. The deep blue stones may look like sapphires at first glance, but they are finely cut glass, a material Margot often used to achieve bold color without sacrificing workmanship. Each piece is crafted in sterling silver, shaped with the sculptural elegance that made her designs so distinctive. On the back, her unmistakable maker's mark confirms the origin and authenticity of the set. One earring has been altered over the years, a small flaw that slightly affects the value but doesn't diminish the charm or collectability of the suite as a whole.
But even with the alteration, because you have a collection, even though it's glass and sterling, it would retail currently, and she died in 1985, for $3,000.
Oh, wow. No kidding. Oh, that's great.
So I hope that makes you happy.
Oh, terrific. Oh, that's wonderful.
Now, if the back of the earring hadn't been changed and glued on,
Okay.
and the pieces hadn't been altered, it would retail for over $4,000.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
But I think it's quite a beautiful
terrific.
piece, a great example of terrific Mexican craftsmanship by a real true
Sure.
artisan.
Great. That's terrific.
This is my great-grandmother.
And I've noticed that she's wearing the pieces that we have here in front of us today.
She is. This was probably a gift from her husband.
Created around the 1860s, this suite reflects a period when mourning customs were woven firmly into everyday life. Loss was frequent, and society developed elaborate ways to honor it. Clothing turned dark, rituals became codified, and jewelry became a wearable memorial. These pieces were crafted to be somber yet elegant, reflecting grief without losing refinement. The suite includes a brooch and matching earrings, classic forms of the era. Their materials and design are characteristic of Victorian mourning style: dark, subdued tones, gentle curves, and motifs meant to evoke devotion rather than decoration. Such jewelry often incorporated symbolic elements or personal materials like hair, though even without those features, the emotional purpose remains unmistakable. What makes this set especially meaningful is its provenance. Not only has it survived intact for more than a century, but its original wearer is known and pictured. A rare connection that transforms the jewelry from an antique into a tangible piece of family history.
Should a suite like this come to auction, you could likely expect anywhere in the realm of $4,000 to $6,000.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah.
I've been collecting jewelry since I was a little girl. I started garage sailing with my Aunt Helen, who taught me to just buy sparkly things, and so I just like big and gaudy, I guess.
So do I.
Two of the standout treasures are the matching necklace and earring sets by Miriam Haskell, created during the 1940s and 50s. Haskell's pieces were famous for their hand-wired beads, layered textures, and romantic designs. Each of your sets captures that signature style and falls into the $1,500 to $2,000 range, showing just how sought-after her work remains. In the center sits a striking bird brooch by Trifari, likely designed by Alfred Philippe. the mastermind behind many of the company's most collectible creations. His pieces often echoed fine jewelry in both style and construction, incorporating imaginative shapes and meticulous detailing.
I believe it's designed by Alfred Philippe. It has all the bells and whistles of a major Trifari pin.
Then there's the multicolored pendant discovered at a Salt Lake estate sale, a piece with real history and craftsmanship behind it. Dating to the turn of the 20th century, it comes from the Austro-Hungarian tradition, known for combining richly colored stones, pearls, and intricate enamel work.
What do you think it might be worth?
$500.
$2,500.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's very nice.
You were a major shopper, kid.
I love it.
This unusual Victorian suite represents a fascinating moment in material history, one when aluminum, now one of the world's most common metals, was considered a luxury reserved for the elite. In the late 1800s, producing aluminum was incredibly expensive, and jewelers were captivated by its silvery sheen, lightweight feel, and futuristic appeal. At that time, pieces like this were prized as modern wonders, worn to showcase both fashion and innovation. The set captures that brief window when aluminum was viewed as precious as gold. Its softly gleaming surfaces and intricate detailing reveal how skilled craftsmen embraced the metal's possibilities, shaping it with the same care they used for far rarer materials. The look is unmistakably Victorian, ornate, decorative, and proudly displaying the era's love for bold geometry and elaborate textures. But the metal's value didn't last. Once new industrial processes emerged, aluminum became inexpensive almost overnight. What had been an exclusive material suddenly lost its status. Jewelry made from it fell out of favor and was often set aside or dismissed as novelty. Yet time, as always, brings new perspective. Today, early aluminum jewelry is prized again, not for preciousness, but for rarity and the story it tells. Collectors now recognize these sets as relics from a transitional era, when science and craftsmanship collided in unexpected ways. This suite isn't just jewelry. It's a snapshot of a forgotten trend, a reminder of how quickly value can rise, fall, and rise again in the world of adornment.
Went downhill and nobody wanted it anymore. Now it's back.
Oh, okay.
It became collectible.
My parents' first landlord, Joe and Dorothy Pick, Joe owned Club Madrid, which was, I don't want to say a speakeasy, but it was a club. It catered to professional football players. It catered to gangsters. Al Capone was there. It had some black market booze at the time. It also had some gambling. Hattie McDaniel, who was part of the Gone with the Wind cast, she got her start there singing as well. But my parents' first landlord, they owned the club, and so what happened was, as gangsters and people who would come through there need a little bit of money, they'd come up to Joe Pick and ask for them to purchase their particular, whether it was jewelry or whatever. And so Joe bought this set for his wife, Dorothy. And then as my mom and Dorothy's relationship grew in friendship and whatnot, shortly before Dorothy died, she gave this set to my mother.
Dating to the late 1920s or early 30s, the suite is exceptional, not only because it remains fully intact, necklace, bracelet, earrings, and ring, but because it is entirely handcrafted in 18-karat yellow gold. More than 3 ounces of gold give it a rich weight, balanced by the warmth of Brazilian amethysts. Though the stones are not the deepest shade of purple, their soft, even color works beautifully against the luminous metal. The craftsmanship shines in the details, delicate seed pearls forming accents around each amethyst, and the twisted gold wire meticulously wrapped around every segment. These touches appear again and again throughout the set, tying each piece into a unified design language. Even the ring reveals small stamped leaves on its sides, details reminiscent of bench-made jewelry from New York workshops of the era, where artisans used mechanical presses and hand finishing to create intricate patterns.
I would say that at auction this would be $4,000 to $6,000.
Really?
Really.
Wow, that's excellent. It really is.
This glamorous parure comes from one of Hollywood's most important jewelry makers, a man whose creations appeared on the screens of classic cinema and on the necks of its brightest stars. Eugene Joseph, later known as Joseph of Hollywood, revolutionized movie jewelry during the golden age of film. Before he arrived in California in the late 1920s, costume designers struggled with pieces that looked too modern or too reflective under the intense studio lights. Joseph changed everything. Working alongside top costume designers, he developed jewelry that was historically accurate, beautifully dramatic, and crafted with a special matte finish that prevented harsh reflections during filming. His creations became essential to productions like Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, and The Wizard of Oz. Even more brilliantly, he didn't sell his designs. He rented them to the studios, keeping ownership while becoming indispensable to Hollywood's biggest films. This parure, dating from the mid-1930s to the mid-1940s, represents his commercial line. Jewelry inspired by his movie pieces and sold through department stores to women who wanted a touch of cinematic glamour. The set includes necklace, bracelet, and earrings, each set with rich purple glass stones that echo the tones of amethyst. The metal carries Joseph's signature muted finish, giving the set that unmistakable old Hollywood glow. Signed and authentically vintage, it reflects the same artistry that made Joseph a legend.
Do you remember what you paid at auction?
I do not.
Well, for these three pieces here, on a retail level, I would say they would be valued at $1,500 to $2,000 for the whole set.
Oh, well, I'm pleased about that. That's very nice.
I got this about 4 years ago. Here in Cincinnati, we have an organization which is a consignment shop, and then the 50% that they keep goes to the cancer wellness community. Okay. So I purchased this through them for $300 or $350. And this piece, we have a home on Lake Erie, and there's a little community called Lakeside that has a little flea market every year. And I picked this up a couple of summers ago. And this piece I bought online earlier this year for $400 and $450.
The most modest of the three is the bracelet, a contemporary piece that reflects the accessible side of moonstone jewelry. It has visible inclusions and signs of wear, but that only proves its purpose. It's meant to be enjoyed every day. Its glow still shines through, just softened by time and use. The ring, however, is a completely different experience. An authentic Art Deco creation, it features a beautifully clear moonstone cabochon framed by onyx and small diamonds. The gem's clarity allows that distinctive internal shimmer, the adulorescence, to move cleanly across the surface when tilted. Deco designers loved contrast, and the interplay of icy blue moonstone against bold black onyx gives this ring a sleek, architectural elegance. Then there is the pendant, an Edwardian masterpiece carved around 1905. At first glance, it seems simply ethereal, but a closer look reveals a clever twist. The face is that of Medusa, rendered so gently that her mythological ferocity feels almost serene. Despite a few later modifications, it remains incredibly desirable.
In terms of what these would be worth today at auction, the ring would come in at about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay, so you did very well on that. The pendant would be coming in just a little bit above that because there were a couple modifications made, about $4,000 to $6,000 at auction. So it's a nice piece again. And then the bracelet would probably be about $100 to $300 at auction, just because of the inclusions. So just three very different pieces. Thank you for bringing them in. They're very pretty.
I love them. They're not going to be sold.
That's fabulous.
Thank you for watching and for exploring these incredible treasures with me. If you want to keep going, you can dive into the heartbreaking world of famous fake discoveries or explore the most valuable pendants ever appraised. Keep exploring.